So, if I dream then about the fivefold ministry, I'm interested in about that as well. If you dream about your pastor, or like a prophet, or an evangelist, or apostle, or like cell group leader, I guess what, in a sense, what would that be then?
So if you're dreaming about those spiritual people, if you know the person, either because they are your pastor, or because they're a very well-known pastor, prophet, evangelist, it could be about that person, but it's possible it is. But it's also, it can be the spirit which is in them. So if it's a prophet that you know of, what kind of gifting do they have? Are they a seer? Do they have words of knowledge? Are they responsible for training lots of prophets? What is it about that prophetic person, about that evangelist? Is the evangelist involved online? Do they do stadiums? What is it about them? It's the spirit within them, and what they're doing in your dream, which will help you can help you understand.
Well, that is interesting, because I had a dream a little while ago where Bob Jones had given me a prophetic word. Now, I had sort of followed Bob Jones, and I found his life quite interesting, but I'd mostly followed him from the point of view of other people who'd spoken about him, like John Paul Jackson. And so it was unusual for me. I hadn't thought a lot about Bob Jones, but in the dream he'd given me a prophetic word, and I'd wondered if it was something about his calling and his specific anointing in the prophetic that God was showing me, rather than it being Bob Jones himself, because he'd given me this prophetic word. And then it was weird, because I turned around, an unknown British celebrity had come to me and said he'd been shaking under the anointing of God, and he said, "What is this?" And I'd like extended my hand to him and said, "It's the power of God." And at that stage he flew back and fell out under the power of God. So it was a very interesting dream, and I probably still don't fully understand what it means, but I suspect maybe it was an aspect of Bob Jones that rather than it being him himself.
Yeah, and there's also an aspect of that dream which is to do with people experiencing things they don't understand, potentially people who don't even know God, and you being able to explain, you name it, for people. So there's an evangelistic element to that as well.
Sometimes I'll dream about the prophets, and they'll come to me in a dream with a message, and then often I'll know that is the message from God for me. That's a message from God, but then I can dream about that same person and it's about that person. So it's discerning what God's trying to show you regarding what he's trying to say at the time. Is it the word of the Lord coming to you? I remember having a dream where it was in Latin. I had to look it up. I was like, this is in Latin. I have no idea. It was a prophetic word that had come, and I had no idea what it meant. And I was just like, I'd said to you, what on earth does this mean? And you'd had to look up the Latin, and it had meant something specific that God was saying to you.
It actually had a meaning in Latin, which is kind of crazy, really.